and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to participate in the mini 1000 Doors readathon. So this is a readathon that I participated in the big one, as in the main one, last year and really enjoyed it. It's been created by 3 booktubers that I really love and watch all the videos, which are Make With Books, Tea Books in Tasman and Drinking by My Shelf. And basically they created this readathon where you click on a prompt, you choose a first prompt to start from. They have one video up, each of them, and it says that it's the first prompt. You click on it, you get a prompt for a book to pick. You pick your book, you read it. When you come back to the video after you finish your book, it'll be like, did you enjoy the main character or did you not? And then based on your answer, you go to the next video. So it could be another question like, did you think that the setting was well written or not? Or did you end up rating it from 3 to 5 stars or lower? And then you pick one of the 2 answers and then you click on that video and that's your next prompt. So you don't know what your next prompt is gonna be. And I don't know, it's just super fun and I really enjoyed it last time. So I definitely wanted to participate in this one again. And I think what's fun about it is that you can do it anytime. It doesn't actually matter whether you do it within the range of the time that was given for the readathon at the same time as others. You can do it later, you can do it at any time you want. We are, however, the 28th of August and I have not read many books off my TBR list yet for this month because I have been moving flats. It's been quite busy and it's been busy at work as well. So it's just been a little bit of a slower month reading wise. So I thought I was maybe gonna try and see if there's any of the prompts that match the books that I still need to read. So yeah, I'm just gonna watch the first 3 prompts, decide which one speaks to me the most or which one actually fits one of the books that I need to read on my TBR, and then I will let you guys know.
So the first doors of the weekend edition of 1000 Doors Readathon are open. Okay, so your first prompt is...
let me ask the audience.
So I think this is a really fun one. There's a couple options of what you can do. The first one that comes to mind for me is do a poll on social media of a couple books you'd be interested in and whatever wins the...
Okay, so that was the first prompt. So it's let me ask the audience. Let me check the next one by Tea Books in Tasman and see what her prompt is.
My first prompt for you guys is the Maneskin's live performance at the Eurovision 2021 final of their song Zite Afwani. You could also read Daisy Jones and the Six because it follows a band. You could read any book that follows celebrities and stars. You could like...
This might be the prompt that I'm gonna go with just because, well, one, I can either pick the final revival of Opal and Nev, which is on my TBR list, and it's a book about a music band, so that would be perfect. Or I could even read the other book that is on my TBR list that I kind of wanted to read, which is The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix. And that one just because it's dark and moody looking, like just from the cover and everything, and I know it's a thriller, so maybe that could work as well, but I feel like it's it's a little bit more of a stretch, while Opal and Nev is just clearly music, and this is a musical prompt, so I don't know.
The doors are open! The 1000 Doors Readathon is officially underway. So, there are 3 hosts of 1000 Doors.
This has nothing to do with the prompt, but I fucking love her top.
Readathon
6.
Okay, I landed on nature. So, the first prompt is going to be owl. The word owl. All of our prompts are deliberately left super open for you to interpret them however you want. So you might want to read a book
I can't think of anything.
The word owl in the title with an owl on the cover. Maybe you want to read a book about wisdom. You can really decide however you want to use this. What am I going to read for this? So what are you waiting for? Go, go, go!
I want an easy read at the moment because clearly I haven't been reading the books I'm meant to be reading, so I think I'm gonna start with Opal and Nev just because it is in an interview format and I feel like that really fits the Maneskin prompt. I just feel like they're one of those bands a lot of people are getting obsessed with, a little bit like how I figured people are obsessed with Opal and Nev, because it was very much compared to Daisy Jones and the Six, with just different themes in there as well, including the issues of race and things like that within the book, which I don't think were covered in Daisy Jones and the Six. But yeah, so I feel like it really works within this prompt. So I think I'm gonna go with Tasman's prompt, which is the Maneskin one, and read Opal and Nev. So there's a little live show that the girls have started now, and I'm participating so that I can read a little bit of Opal and Nev, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm only 50 pages in, so I don't have much to say about it, but it's quite fun and it's easy and fast-paced, so that's all I really wanted.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in.
Okay, so it's Saturday and I have now read about 100 pages of Opal and Nev, and yeah, I'm really liking it so far, so I definitely think that this is gonna end up being really good and that I'm probably gonna rate it 4 or 5 stars in the end. Definitely in a very similar way to Daisy Jones and the Six, and I don't mean to be that person who's comparing them, but it's hard not to, just because they both talk about like the way that a legendary band in the 70s-ish or 80s was born, how it was formed, and a collaboration between two great artists, one woman, one man, which is pretty much what this talks about. The same way that you have the story of this band from the beginning in Daisy Jones through this interview format, you have it in there as well, with like side characters being brought in, like Opal's sisters being interviewed and stuff, and you really get a rounded up, you know, version of their personalities, of all those characters' personalities through these interviews. And I think it's really well written as well, because it must be really hard, I think, to write so many different voices, because you do need for them to sound different when they're talking and when each of their interviews come up. And you do get that feeling that they're all different personalities and they're not just all written by that one same author, which they are. So yeah, the writing style, I think, does that really well and just is perfect for this genre. What I think I'm enjoying more than in Daisy Jones is that there is also editor's notes, which are obviously written by the fake author we're getting, who is the daughter of this guy Jimmy, who was in the band. He was, I think, the drummer, and he died when she was a baby and doesn't remember him, I guess, but he was also having an affair with Opal. And we know this from the very beginning, so I don't think this counts as a spoiler. So I'm really enjoying having a bit of a personality behind the writer and the person gathering those interviews. I think it's quite fun. You didn't have as much of that in Daisy Jones. If anything, that made me think more of the way Evelyn Hugo was written. It just really reminded me of that. But yeah, so far really enjoying it, and I guess I will let you guys know once I've finished it. It is Saturday after lunch. It is 1:50 and I don't know how well I'm gonna do in this little readathon challenge, because I do need technically to be reading 3 books in total this weekend, and it's already Saturday midday and I'm only 100 pages in, but you know, if it needs to last longer, it'll just last longer.
In their seats. And I heard my friend Nev clear his throat and say, well...
Bob Hines. I did manage to get Nev on board.
The optimistically titled Rivington All-Star Showcase was planned for fall 1971 at the Smythe Theatre, a grand and ornate venue that has struggled in recent years.
And I'm really excited. And I think I'll probably finish this like in this stream and pick my last book in this stream. I don't think it'll take me that long.
Someone just asked if it counts to read a book from the library. Yes, of course it does. It counts to read anything.
Absolutely.
I always get so many messages from people being like, does it count to do this? Everything counts.
Yeah.
Okay, it is now way later than I had anticipated. It's 10:36 on that Saturday still, and I have finally finished my first book, which was Opal and Nev. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so fun. I'm not quite sure how much I enjoyed the rushing. Like, I really felt like I had to rush through it just to be able to finish it within this marathon, and I feel like maybe I would have enjoyed myself more just taking my sweet time with this book. But on the other hand, it was a good enough book that it was easy to continue reading on so fast and to try and finish it on time for it. So I'm quite happy with that. And just in general, it was fun. I really enjoyed it, yeah. I'd say one of the biggest strengths about this book is that it really was so easy to picture all of those different characters. Like, in my head, I could see them, I could hear them, and I think obviously the hearing comes from the fact that I did listen partially to the audiobook. So when I was cooking, when I took my shower, things like that, whenever I couldn't actually physically read, I actually listened to the audiobook because I had both. So I really enjoyed switching between both of those because the audiobook is quite good, and I'm not normally an audiobook fan, but I think I was okay with the hybrid format. Like, I liked listening to the audiobook partially and reading partially, but I don't think I'm one of those people that likes just listening to audiobooks. Like, it's just not my thing. But yeah, it was still really good and I enjoyed both formats, so I definitely think that it was a plus and helped me finish today, just because then I could listen to it while doing other tasks. So that's it. That means I get to go into my second prompt. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna rate this book 4 or 5 stars. I'm probably gonna put it through the Copile system just to know exactly what my rating is, but I'd say it's probably 5 stars. I feel like it's a 5 stars for me. So, okay, so I am back on Tasmin's video, and prompt 2 for me is gonna be this one because I'm gonna click on 4 to 5 stars as a rating.
Hi again, it's me!
Another Tasmin prompt.
I'm so glad that you loved your first book. This next prompt is one that I love. If you haven't seen this already, prepare to have your world rocked. It is the Linda's live performance of Racist, Sexist Boy. They went viral because they're a group of like kid East Asian children people.
I'm sorry, but isn't that the most perfect prompt for the book I just fucking finished? Okay, I'm gonna watch the rest of this video and then I'm gonna watch the performance in question, but I kind of like the idea of fitting in foxes because it is a young adult, so I'd read that quite fast, but also because the way I could fit it in is that it does talk about this more marginalized group of people within this elite school. Well, the first book at least, which was called Stags, was about, yeah, these people, these young kids who are in this elite school, boarding school thing, and they have to pretty much deal with a bunch of rich white guys, assholes, who have a cult thing going on. And that is kind of like the main plot in book 1 and 2. This is book 3, which I haven't read yet, and I need to read this month, and I don't know, I was thinking maybe I could fit that in. However, I have also just downloaded, like literally today, the Kindle version of When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain by N. Vo, which is a novella, so that would be super fast, and it is written by an Asian author, and I really enjoyed the first one that I read literally last month, so super recently, so I did want to read the second one, and I do have it on my Kindle, and it is a novella, so it would be super fast, and then that would allow me to read my actual 3 books within, because I mean I have like a couple of hours in a day. Okay, I just watched that performance and it was pretty epic. I don't think it's my kind of music anymore. I feel like I used to listen to this type of music a lot when I was younger and when I was like 14 to 16 years old and loved that type of rock. I just don't really listen to this genre anymore, but I did appreciate the lyrics, that's for sure. So, what should I pick to read next? I did really feel like I wanted to read Foxes, and I do think it fits the prompt, if only in the sense of the main characters have to deal with a lot of sexism and racism in school. And I don't know, I feel like my main idea when I started this readathon was I'm gonna finally fucking move on with my TBR and actually read the books in it. So if I can fit another one, I really should embrace this. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be reading this one. I'm sorry it took me so long to debate over this, although I don't know how short I'm gonna edit it down to. I don't know how much I can tell you about this book without spoilers, because technically this is the third book in a series and they do actually follow each other. Like they each have like a kind of individual plot that does kind of finishes towards the end of the book, but with also like an ongoing plot that goes throughout the books. It is already 11 o'clock now, but I am going to try and read a little bit of this at least, see how far I can get to before the end of the day. I mean, it's technically the end of the day, but you know what I mean, the end of Saturday, and then how much I'll have left tomorrow for me to both read this and another book. On this note, I will see you guys tomorrow.
Never had the forbidden fruit. Never drank from the fountain of youth. Ooh, what a day, what a life.
Hello again, so it is now Saturday 3:30 p.m. and I am a little bit further than halfway through Foxes. So I did read until like page 100 last night and then I've continued a bit this morning. I had other stuff to do, so obviously I couldn't just read the entire time, and I don't have this one in audiobook, so I wasn't able to read it while doing other tasks, unfortunately. However, it is a super fast read, even though it's so thick. I mean, it's like close to 400 pages for a YA. I think that's big-ish, and it is like quite fast-paced. It is just fun to read, and I think that's why I'm probably gonna manage to finish it well on time to read a third book. However, that third book will probably have to be a comic or a novella, because there's no way I'm gonna finish another book that's like 400 pages within today. I don't think I'll be able to do that, and I don't want to expend it. I want to actually finish my, you know, 3 days readathon, which was kind of more of a 2 days readathon because I didn't really have any of Friday to start because I was working. So yeah, it's been a 2 days readathon and I'm pretty proud of where I am at the moment. I'm really enjoying this book. Again, I don't think I can tell you that much about it because it is a direct sequel to the first two in the Stag series, and so it would be spoilerish if I told you what's going on in here. But if you liked the synopsis that I told you about of the first book, of the Stags one, then just so you know, the third one is just as good. The second one was really fun as well, and it's just telling me that it's nice and fun as a series. Like every single book has a different fun story to tell, and they're not just all going downhill because the first one was the best or anything like that. So you can trust it as a series is all I can say so far. There is a little bit of a formula in these books where you do often have all characters confronted to the same group of people, just different people within this group, and it is kind of all linked together, but it does feel like every book is still quite different from each other at the moment, which I am appreciative of. So I'm page 206, which means I have 180 or so to finish this book, and I'm currently watching the last live that the girls are doing. This one is on Meg's channel, and they're currently doing right now a sprint, which is why I'm talking instead of reading. Not useful, but this is so light and really reads like a fun YA and doesn't feel like an adult type of YA, if that makes sense. It's also not too young, which I dislike as well. It's perfectly in the middle, I'd say. So it's just written in a way that's quite flowy. I think that when I was reading Opal and Nev, it was taking me longer to read the same amount of pages probably. So this is good so far, really enjoying myself. Hello again. I have now just finished reading Foxes. It is 6 p.m, I mean 6:15, and I still have some time to read a third book, so I'm pretty happy. Although it's probably gonna have to be a short one because I don't have that many hours left in the day, and I'd like to finish tonight. I feel like that would make sense. So yeah, I really enjoyed myself reading this. I think it was just a really good continuation to the series. The characters are still fun and the plot and everything that's going on is really fun as well. I would say, however, that there were a lot of moments where I was like, come on, Greer, that's the main character, she could have figured out some of the things so much faster, because as a reader, there's some hints that were given that was like, that is so obvious, I know what that means, how do you not know what that means? Especially since she is a film buff and references a lot of films all the time because her dad is in the movie industry, and there were so many moments where there were references to things that I was like, you know that, and I know that the only reason you don't know that is because the author wants you to take more time to figure it out. That was the only frustrating thing. Everything else I really enjoyed about this book. So I'm gonna rate it 4 stars, and I'm gonna go and check what my next prompt should be. Okay, different angle again, just so that I can check that video, what prompt I'm getting next. So the question at the end of this video is, was the ending of the book satisfying? Yes and no. It's a hard one to answer just because the ending is still kind of open for the next book, I know, and that is fun, but also it means it's not completely finished and satisfying. However, a lot of the stuff that we were wondering about in most of the book is resolved by the end, and you do figure a lot of the things out. So I'm not entirely sure how to answer that. I feel like both yes and no kind of answer this question. I think just for the story itself within this book, yeah, I'm gonna say yes. So let's click on that prompt.
Hello and welcome to your final prompt.
Hello.
And you have been having such great luck in this readathon so far. I have a board game here called Pandemic.
Oh.
Too soon? Is that too soon? This game feels way too real now. I used to love it. Have not played it in a year and a half. Without looking, we're gonna pick this one. Scientist.
What?
You are a scientist.
Okay.
We're also gonna randomly pick a city. So I am choosing this one, Cairo. So you can use these however you would like. You can try and use all of them together. You could try and find a book about being a scientist in Cairo, or you could use just one part. You could read a book set
I have
in
one.
Cairo. You could read a book about science. If you wanted to, you could completely ignore this and just read a book about a pandemic. I know some people love that idea at the moment and some people hate that idea at the moment, so totally up to you.
Right, okay, so my final prompt is Scientist and Cairo, and it's from that game Pandemic. It's from Emma. When she said Cairo, I lit up immediately. So I've just received 2 packages. They're both books. I don't know which one is which, so I'm just going to open both. Yes. Okay, so that's the one I was looking for. This is A Master of Gin by P. Gilly Clarke. I'm not going to be reading this book. However, it is set in a fictional universe where there's like magical stuff and some sort of like magic police, I guess, and stuff like that. I think that's all I kind of know about this. And it's written by P. Gilly Clarke, who wrote Ring Shout, which is a novella that I read earlier this year and I really loved. It was so fun. It was very Buffy-esque. So I know that he writes action well, which is pretty cool, and I really wanted to read this because it's his first full-size novel instead of novella. So far, I think he's only written novellas. And basically, I own, on my Kindle, on my phone, 2 of his novellas set in the same universe. They're super short, let me check. And the first one that I had started, as in I've read 5 pages of, is called A Dead Gin in Cairo. I'm not kidding you, I'm gonna put the cover here. It's called A Dead Gin in Cairo. I mean, yes, isn't that so freaking perfect for this prompt? I feel like it's perfect. And it is a novella, it's super freaking short. It's like 36 pages. And there's another novella called The Haunting of Trumcar 015, which is the follow-up to it. I mean, I don't think they're linked, but they're both in the same universe. And they're both like prequels, I think, to this, or at least in the same universe as this. He wrote first those 2 short novellas, and then this novel set in the same universe. And I really wanted to read this book, and I was like, I should probably read the novellas first. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. And also it's just, I mean, it's only 36 pages, so I can finish that super quickly, and I feel like that would be just perfect to finish this readathon, considering I've read 2 full-sized books that were almost 400 pages each. I'm allowed to give myself a 36 pages long book, I think, as the final prompt. I'm probably gonna have dinner first and then I'm gonna read that just so I have a little break, because I would otherwise literally be jumping from one book to the other, and I probably need a little bit of time just to actually digest the book I've just finished. But once I've had some food in me and all that, I will come back to you guys and talk to you about A Dead Gin in Cairo. I've just finished A Dead Gin in Cairo by P. Jelly Clark and I really liked it. I've been so lucky with all the books that I have picked in this readathon because every single one of them I really enjoyed. So this one, basically we follow this woman named Fatma. She is an agent of the Ministry of, I think it was alchemy, enchantments, and like, I can't remember what it was. It was something like supernatural, basically, which is a ministry that exists in an alternate universe version of Cairo in Egypt in 1912, I think it was. And basically in this alternate version of the world, some alchemist created a hole between our world and a world of supernatural beings, including jinns, angels, ghouls, and things like that. And she works for, basically she's like police enforcement for supernatural stuff, and she's called an investigator, and she works in tandem with this guy Azim, who is an inspector, so he's just part of the normal police, but they're like working together on a case. And the case in question is that there's a jinn that has just been killed, which is kind of uncommon because they're quite strong beings. And they go to investigate this death and discover a lot of other stuff that is happening. It was so fun. It's so quick. It's only 36 pages, but also it was a full story, and I love that about this guy. Like, this is the second time I have read a novella by P. Jelly Clark. The first one was Ring Shout, and very similarly, I mean, it was longer. It was like more like 120 pages or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was longer. But yeah, it also was still a novella and yet felt very complete, very full of stuff and action-packed. Super similarly here. And again, I feel like if you like the type of Buffy universe or Netflix's Sabrina, things like that, you would love that. I feel like that would be the type of books that are for you. They're just really, really fun. I just can't wait to read A Master of Jinn now. It's really made me in the mood for it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how all the books that I have read have turned out, because I've been pretty lucky in this readathon. So that means I can click on that little congratulations you finished post, the last video, which I guess is probably just going to be a little message to say congrats, and then people discussing with their path and how it went and all that in the comments. So I'm just going to go check it out.
Hello everyone! Hey everyone! Hey everyone! Congratulations on completing the first ever weekend edition of the 1000 Doors Readathon. Until next time, bye!
Okay, that was it. That was the last video, just telling people congrats and thank you for doing the thing. And yeah, I am one of those people that did participate in the first one, and definitely I'm one of those people that wants to participate in the next one, because honestly I think this is the most fun I have in any readathons ever. And I say that as someone who doesn't really participate in other readathons, because whenever I try, I feel like it's such a chore, and it's a lot of like prepping in advance the books that you're going to want to read, and like prepping time for them, and just struggling to figure out where you're going to fit them into your TBR list and stuff. Well, whenever I do this 1000 Doors one, it feels like you can fit any book you really want to, in a way, and I kind of like that, because very often I'm gonna be like, oh, I already have a TBR list and I kind of need to fit in the books that I have on there, or have so many books that I own that I know could fit a prompt if it was wide enough, and it always is. There's always like a prompt that will fit some book that I own, so that's why I love it, and that's why I'm definitely gonna do it again. And by doing it again, I mean that I am definitely considering restarting from the very beginning right now, like tonight or tomorrow, and just trying to do another one throughout the week or something, like just a little bit longer than 3 days, because I am working, obviously. Tomorrow it's Monday, but just making it last longer and just doing 3 prompts again, because it really motivated me to read more, and it was so fun, and I don't regret doing it at all. All the books that I read I really enjoyed, and I was so glad that I picked them, so why not doing it again? On this note, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. I always try to respond, so don't hesitate to leave me a comment down below. Also consider subscribing, ringing that bell, all that jazz, and I guess I will see you guys in the next one.